Good morning, good evening. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dope People podcast. I am so excited this morning. It's the morning for me. I totally feel like I'm hanging out with you guys. I woke up with a lot of energy and I haven't journaled yet. So I'm just coming on here for a little hangout session. So thank you for joining me on this little hangout. And this is a echo of what happened last night. So I'm gonna explain what brought me here so that I can be fully anchored in this present moment with you and explain the ideas that are currently alive in my mind. And as I do this, I'm also going to enjoy the drink I just made this morning, which is kind of a twist on a London fog, I think. If I'm not mistaken, a London fog is made with Earl Grey tea and it has this foam on top. So, well, this is an Earl Grey tea and it has a bit of honey in it and some oat milk that I tried to froth, and I'm like bending my cup on the side instead of moving the computer to try and show that there is something kind of like foam, but it's more like a milk with lots of bubbles because it was my first time using the frother with oat milk and that's how it turned out. So I'm pretty excited to take a sip right now. It's nice. The froth is definitely more bubble than anything else, but it's very stimulating to look at. I want to show you guys. This is quote, quote, foam. I would call it milk with bubbles. It's definitely more like that. But I like bubbles, so it's great. Anybody agree that we need more bubbles in our life? You might hear the dogs bark in the background. They're probably wondering why a human is talking in the garage. Um, I just feel really cozy here right now, and I also get to look at the painting that I started. I started doing this 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I went for a little shopping trip to get some material because I haven't painted in a really long time. And yeah, I got to it. I gave myself permission to explore a new medium, and it's been really fun. It's actually a lot of fun. Now that I'm like looking at my painting from here, the what I started doing, and I can see like, oh yeah, like things I want to do. I see how good it is to take a step back and leave it alone and come back to it later. Um, it's funny too because when I started painting on it, after like 30 minutes, I was like, yeah, I think it's like done, you know? But then I had a lot more ideas with it. So it's definitely just a beginning. It's fun to explore. I'm gonna turn the camera, maybe for the ones who are curious to see. That means if you're just using Spotify or something to listen to this, well, if you're curious, you can head over to YouTube and see what this is about. That was a quick peek at the beginning of what one could call a candy cane vortex. Cotton candy, definitely meant cotton candy. Because I sent a Snapchat to it of it to my sister yesterday, and she said it was like cotton candy feels, and I definitely get that with the pick of colors. And it's definitely like a vortex. Somebody else said that. I sound like I showed it to many people, but I showed it to two people, and that's the two comments I got. So that's me allowing myself to play with a new medium. But back to this medium now, which is where I let my voice echo. Um, Sip time. What are you guys drinking? Something good, I hope. Something you enjoy. How's everybody out there? Oh, I wish I could like talk with you, whoever's listening. I wish I could get an answer back, but it's okay. I'm with myself, so that's cool. Um, so I wanted to explain what brought me here and what's alive for me right now. First, the topic that's alive for me right now is the topic of beauty. It's a big topic, but I've been thinking about it because there's so many inspirations. First, um, one factor that inspires me right now is probably just seeing my mom and how she loves to decorate the house, and she really enjoys putting her energy and creating things around her in her space that she enjoys. So there's the idea of beauty there, and that it's just something I'm witnessing right now. So it's inspiring me. And then the other thing is what brought me here is I actually recorded a video last night, a very impromptu video where I was pretty much going to bed, and I just decided to open the camera ahead of time and, well, just open the camera and start talking to you guys. And my hair was like a mess, which I mean, I sound like I judge my hair a lot. It's just like the curls kind of have a personality of their own. So it's always a bit like different. You never really know what you're getting. And I've been contemplating the idea of cutting them really short also, which I don't really like to talk about what I'm going to do, especially because I don't know if I'm going to do it, but it's just an idea twirling around in my mind right now. So um, there's this idea of appearances, you know, and how we show up. But yesterday I was showing up really like, I love when I take off all the pressure from myself, from what I look like, and I don't care whatsoever. And I realize when I observe people that it is most probably the most attractive feature about somebody is their sheer lack of judgment of themselves. And that seems to be correlated with a strong sense of confidence in who you are. And I find that to be really attractive. So it kind of comes down to the person's vibe. Like, are they fully anchored in themselves? And how much do they not give a fuck about what people think? Because this reminds me of a quote that I don't know where it comes from, but it goes something like, when um, you care so much about the opinions of others is when you don't know who you are, or it was something like that. If you don't know who you are, then you start really caring about the opinion of others. But if you really are solidly anchored in your being, there's no hesitation, there's no doubt, because you're not trying. And that's the whole art. The art of not trying. That is something that inspires me so deeply. It's very connected with Taoism, or the Tao, which is pretty much the art of life. I think it's Lao Tzu, the Chinese, can I say guru? um, who I guess was the initiate, or the person who is at the source of this art being spread worldwide. I guess he's the guy who like dictated how the art would be written. Anyway, Lao Tzu gave us a lot of wisdom around the art of not trying. And it's something that I've been observing in my life just by spending a lot of time in nature and observing how it is and how it changes effortlessly and how powerful it is. And just witnessing this silent force in its being. And that has inspired me a lot. And then later on, because it was inspiring a lot of writings, and then I found out about Taoism and I started studying that a little bit, and it resonated so much because, well, it's the art of life. So I find a lot of beauty in that, in the art of not trying. And it makes me wonder, and that's what's guiding me right now. It's the force that I am choosing to move to, my curiosity. Makes me wonder about what other people find attractive. I think that there's things we definitely have in common, but definitely there are differences between individuals because while we're not all attracted to the same things, that's for sure. And there are also similarities that definitely unite us in what we seem to generally find attractive. If you look back on ancient Greece, the factor of symmetry was a very big deal in what we found attractive and beautiful. So if you look at the architecture and the straight lines and the big columns, everything is very symmetrical, and it has to do with the art of balance, and it's very classic. And then there's also an organic beauty, maybe. When I think of organic, I think of the natural curves of life. It reminds me of the spiral, like the painting I just showed. And it reminds me of flowers and how unique every piece is inside this grand masterpiece that we call life. And when we're talking about organic beauty, I feel like it's just that. It's something that is so unique and that cannot be imitated, because then it wouldn't be so true. For example, you wouldn't paint a blue flower pink. It would be interesting, but I'm pretty sure Alice tried that and it didn't work out so well. So I have a writing about that. Maybe I'll share it later in this video. Because it was a source of inspiration at some point, that very scene in Alice in Wonderland where she tries painting the flowers, and I was thinking about what that means. And yeah, so maybe I can share that. Maybe I can share that now since I'm talking about it. I'm gonna go back. I have a document open on my laptop right now. It's called Spoken Words, and I had started this document just by grabbing some of the short poems I wrote that I figured maybe I could share on this platform as a practice of self-expression. So that little piece is called Flowers for Alice. And I remember writing it when I was in Thailand at the park. And I had this image of the movie in my mind, and I used that for inspiration. So it goes like this. Gardens of roses in which we were granted the power to water and shelter what we wish to see prosper, like bottled up potions on which name tags index what the essence will blossom, like Alice in dream state. We may choose the water, we may choose the power, we may choose the flavor, we may choose the pleasure. Oh, the fun we can have in this world where the bounds are the ones we make up. Limits are not a must. They simply reflect our own intellect. So let's tend to this wonder in which we uncover our infinite nature and witness the changes as we play with senses, leaving new impressions through neuronal connections. Yes, my dear, it is true. What you think becomes you. Embody this venture. You are the adventure. You are all you wish for and can change any course. For the map that you build is the fruit of your will, and the treasure you'll find is as you've dreamed in time. That was a little piece that was inspired by that little flower scene in Alice in Wonderland. Um, hmm. And the other question I asked myself this morning was, if I was to post the video that I filmed yesterday before bed, because I haven't uploaded it yet, I haven't even looked at it because I usually look at my stuff after recording it and then I judge myself. um, but I continue on with this practice of just putting it out there. And in parenthesis to that, I received a message from a friend this morning that was about living loudly and letting ourselves express. And it was actually about the butterfly effect. So it's a reminder that in relation to the chaos theory, where pretty much like everything is connected and actually, I'm gonna probably research chaos theory later because I've heard Terence McKenna talk about it a little bit, and I can make assumptions about what it means, but I definitely would like to hear a bit more about it before I just go off on a tangent. But it was about that. It was about being loud and existing and letting ourselves make noise and make choices and make mistakes. And remember that all our mistakes, every choice we make, is always guiding us exactly where we're supposed to be. And it's a reminder that I really need to anchor in my mind because in my past, I was very stagnant and I was putting a lot of limitations on myself because I was so scared of making mistakes. I've heard somebody use the term recovering perfectionist once, and I like that. Although I don't want to like label myself, but I definitely had perfectionist tendencies solidly anchored. And I was definitely obsessing about particular ways that I showed up. And that was keeping me from saying what was on my mind or showing up with confidence the way that I have admired certain people do it in my life. And it's something that I've been studying a lot as well. I've been studying what we seem to find attractive about people and how attractive I find when somebody exudes such confidence. If you're looking at the video, you can see that I have a little friend flying around that just like landed in my hair and went away. If you're not watching, well, again, use your imagination, or head over to the link and satisfy your curiosity. Um, so the question I asked myself regarding the topic of beauty this morning was, I wonder how much it would affect the reception of my message um, if I looked different in my video yesterday. Because it was, I feel like it was more of a mess than it is right now. But it's also subjective. And I mean, I guess the world runs on chaos theory also. So a little bit of chaos seems to be good. If you are watching the video, I'm now joined by two flying friends. Great, great. So that's cool. Just more beings that we're hanging out with. So I wondered, and I even thought about making a little experiment of uploading the two videos that would be addressing similar topics, and seeing which one is received better for my own curiosity. Like, what happens if I actually put a little bit of effort in how I show up and try and bring a nice background and that kind of stuff. But as you can see, the background is a garage door. So the effort here is, I mean, let's just disregard that. And I decided also not to brush my hair or do anything there. So um, maybe disregard that. But it's so hard for me to even compare. I think that what I'm most interested in analyzing and observing is how different the energy is behind the video. So, how is my confidence? How anchored do I feel in myself? I think that's pretty interesting because that's what I find attractive in people, is that quality of being so unapologetic. Mm-hmm. And it's something that's inspired me a lot. So I wondered about making a bit of a science experiment, or like a social experiment, to see how differently those two videos would be received. But they're going to be a little bit different, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to upload the one I filmed yesterday. I'm going to watch it, assess, think about it, and then we'll see. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. I was going to say at the same time, but I will find out before you, because by the time you watch this, I will most likely have made a decision. But that's okay, because technically past and future are all made up in our mind, and we are all here at the same time in this now moment. How crazy is that? How crazy is it that we're connecting and you're listening, and no matter what time it is for you, it's still now. It's still happening now, and it's always happening now. And we've heard it. We've heard Eckhart Tolle tell us the power of now. But it's just so fascinating to think that really, truly, the past is gone and the future is not here, and everything is happening simultaneously. So crazy. It's like the mind cannot even grasp what that means. But literally, we can alter past, future, and present by accessing the quantum realms. This stuff like fascinates me on such a level. It's the fabric of reality. It's how we can change everything by anchoring ourselves in the present moment. Wow. I just had a fly land on my nose, and I might have looked cross-eyed for a second looking at it. um, I thought about sharing a piece of writing that I didn't share in the video yet last night, because it's on the topic of beauty. I'm feeling a little bit shy about sharing it, but maybe this is where I step out of my comfort zone and do it anyway. so I can feel like I'm expanding a little bit, right? That's what it is, stepping out of the comfort zone. It's not long, so let's do it. It's called Muses, and it was inspired by, you'll see, you'll get the picture. It came through as I like to give a bit of the story of how it came to life. It came through in the form of automatic writing. I think I was at school when I wrote it, maybe during a break on the back of a schedule paper or something like that, very quickly, without thinking about it. I remember there was a lot of noise, so I wasn't really following the thread of the thought. There was not really any thoughts in my mind, but I read it when I read it afterwards. I thought it had a pretty nice flow, and so I kind of like this piece, and it touches on the topic of beauty. So let's go for it. Muses. From the idyllic gardens of Greek goddesses, where men and monsters have wished for desires to be extinguished, the secret of love found in the woman's presence that the fire of their passion only met more flames in the meeting of their dreams. The contentment one could hope for did not arise from the pleasure to which they gave themselves. Instead, it fed the hunger of the monsters hiding within their well. So wishes led the way, and hunger moved the hands. Consumed by desires, they burned in their romance. The muses held the men, they offered their own gifts, until from wish to satire, they found the alpha to their grief. Fire has brought them here, where they plunge in the water, to remember that the monsters were their own given mirror. They thank the muses for the dance, the words, the laughs, and the poetic stance. Beauty they found in the expression of what they once tried to destroy. Now and again, they still long for the muses to remind them of what they know, that the monsters and men of the world live for the arts, and that beauty is felt from the heart. So that's the end of the little piece called Muses. It's it's such an inspiring vision to me to think of the muses in Greek times. And yeah, I feel very inspired by this time. So I hope you enjoyed that little piece. I guess let me know if you enjoy the spoken words. It's not something that I'm used to doing, but I guess it's a way of sharing some of my writings. So if you enjoy listening to them, let me know. And on this note, I will end this video. I will most likely go ask myself, what do I do with the other one? Do I run this social experiment of seeing how differently videos are received? Or maybe I'm just going to do a self-analysis and see how different my energy appears and what impressions it leaves on me when I try and put myself in the seat of the observer and witness my own humanity. On this note, thank you for being here. That's really cool. I appreciate you. I appreciate you just being. I hope that you let yourself express what is true to you today. And I also hope that your expression is received with an open heart and an open mind. So I don't know what kind of people are in your realm of existence right now. But if you struggle finding people who truly recognize the value of who you are when you are not trying to be anything to please others, remember that you always have this space to come back to, and I will receive you in that manner with an open heart and an open mind. Until then, stay dope. I will talk to you soon, sending you much love and many blessings.